So Anthony Smith versus Glover Teixeira. This was an interesting fight, you know. This was an interesting fight for a lot of reasons. But the reason Chael Sonnen is disgusted about it, and the reason that I'm disgusted about it, wasn't because of any of the technical brilliance that either man displayed. You know, going into this fight, I was unsure of who was going to win. I was leaning a little bit more towards Anthony Smith. Thought he was going to be the guy that was going to be able to be a little more dynamic. He was bigger, taller. Thought Glover was getting a little bit old. Thought the younger guy was going to be able to come in. I thought Smith learned something and was coming out a better fighter after his fight with John Jones. But either way, I was unsure and wasn't going to place anything on it. None of that even matters now, right? The story of the fight becomes why the fight continued on after the end of the second round, in my opinion. Okay? Anthony Smith, he went on this run for a short period of time, right towards the end of the second or the middle of the second. I can't remember exactly. I haven't rewatched it. Where he was landing some really good shots, and it looked almost like it was the beginning of the end for Glover. Right, Smith was landing some good shots. He was piecing them up. Looked like he was going to be able to go in and finish. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I don't know if he hit the wall or what. I don't know what the story is, but out of nowhere, it looks like the fight just changed at the drop of a dime. And all of a sudden, Glover came on strong, and he started landing some hard shots on Smith, right? Hurt him. Just it seemingly out of nowhere, it flipped. And the one that I remember the most is the one where Glover caught him and Smith flew back, kind of, and dropped and balled up when he dropped, right? It was kind of almost face down, but he was like kind of balled up on his knees and dropped. And he was already taking punishment at that point. And Glover swarmed him and landed some more shots, and he stayed balled up on the ground. Completely defensive. And after the punishment that he had already taken and the way that looked right there, he was offering no signs of intelligent defense. He was offering no chance of working himself back into it. In my opinion, the referee should have stopped the fight right there. That was the time to stop it. If you're reading body language and if you're looking at the punishment the man's taking, that's when that fight should have been stopped. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, well, you know, Anthony Smith fought back after that. That's because the man went into survival mode. He was in a cage with the man on top of him, pounding on him. In his mind, he probably acted in a way that showed that he didn't want to be there, and he was still getting pounded on, and the ref didn't stop it. Of course, at some point, he's gonna flip around, try to get to his back, try to start to defend himself, get to his side, whatever it is. He wasn't just going to lay there and die and let the man pound him into death. I mean, it was just his natural instinct, in my opinion. You know, I mean, he's a warrior. What do you think, he's going to quit? What do you think he was going to give up? You thought he made it this far in life because he's a quitter? Because when all of a sudden he runs into some adversity, he's just going to lay down and die? I mean, that's not who he is. That's not who most of these guys are. That's why they chose this profession. That's why they've gotten as far as they've gotten, that you're seeing them fight on TV. You know how many guys fight for a living that you never even hear of? They're nobodies, right? Those are the guys who quit. Those are the guys who give it up. That's not Anthony Smith, you know? And I would also like to contrast this with the event that we just saw with Dominic Cruz and Henry Cejudo, right? A lot of people, including Dominic Cruz, talking about how it was an early stoppage. Okay, well, this is the flip side to that coin. Okay? You get a ref who really is hesitant about stopping stuff. You get a ref who really wants to let him fight too much. Then you start to see stuff like this. Then you see stuff like the fight with Tony Ferguson and Justin Gaethje, where guys are taking a legitimate beating in there. Right, the type of beating that's going to potentially harm them later in life and almost for sure shorten their careers a little bit. I mean, think about what Anthony Smith was doing. He went to his corner and said his teeth are falling out. The referee tried to talk to him after the round, and Anthony Smith put him on the pay no mind list and just kept walking. I mean, are these not signals that he doesn't want to be in there anymore? Are these not signals that he's ready to hang it up? That this isn't his night? I mean, think about it. If you're the corner, okay, put yourself into this scenario. At what point would you stop the fight if that was your fighter in there? So let's say, because this is the way I see it. If I'm cornering a guy, I'm his chief second, And I see that, one, I think his chances of winning the fight are basically zero. And two, he's in there taking punishment. A lot of punishment. I'm going to stop the fight right there. That doesn't mean when a guy's behind you, stop it because he's getting hit with some shots or anything. No, of course not. Right? I'm talking about Anthony Smith. You had to figure that the man legitimately had no chance of winning that. What, he was going to turn around and all of a sudden land some crazy knockout punch? He was going to get his second wind and all of a sudden win on points? What, he's going to peel off a submission victory against Glover, the black belt? Come on, man. There was a point in there when everybody watching the fight who knows fighting and knows fighters knew that Anthony Smith had no chance of winning that fight. And that fight went on for a long time afterwards. And he took a lot of punishment. And that's a problem. You know, it really is. I think he got failed by two people. Chael Sonnen was mentioning that, you know, he gave the benefit of the doubt to the referee and he put it all on the corner. I actually put it on both of them. I put it on the corner and I put it on the ref. I think the ref should have stopped it, like I said, towards the end of this. I think it was the second round, towards the end of the second, when he took that one really nasty shot that sent him flying, put him face down. And I think the corner, and he should have stopped it after the second. He should have stopped it after the third. He should have stopped it after the fourth. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing if you're that man's corner and you continue to let him go out there and take that punishment? It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, you know. And I mean, I've got a spot in my heart for that type of thing. It's like, I really think it's irresponsible. And I really think it really ends up harming guys a lot. So it was one I didn't really like. Like I said, if I was Anthony Smith or if I was anybody around Anthony Smith, there is zero chance that I would ever go and train with those guys again or allow them to work in my corner. Couldn't trust them. Couldn't do it. No way.